welcome to an impromptu version of the OHIO podcast. I am your host, the Wild Man, Chris Wilds. With me today is Sean, the Schrockstar Schrock. Eric normally does a live viewing of Ryan Day's press conference. Eric was unavailable today. However, there was a few things that came up that I thought we needed to address, and specifically things concerning our offensive coordinator, Sean, that being one Brian Hartline. So, Brian Hartline's impact on Ohio State football, it spans generations, Sean. First as a player, then as one of the most influential coaches in assistant coaches in Buckeye history. He was a wide receiver from 05 to 08. He embodied toughness. He embodied reliability. He became, a trusted target. He went on to the NFL. And since coming back to Ohio State, he's done nothing but develop first-round talent and do great things that has put him in the position of a top-tier assistant and now a head coach for the University of South Florida. But Sean, that brings up questions. Is this causing conflict? Is this what's best for Ohio State? And I think, and I want to get your reaction to this, I think part of this was addressed today by Ryan Day in his press conference. And
I'm sorry, Chris.
No, Ryan Day has come out and said he is taking back basically the play calling duties. He said everybody's going to be a part of it, but he is basically taking back the play calling duties at this point from Brian Hartline. And Brian Hartline's sole goal at this point is going to be to continue to focus on coaching the wide receivers. So my first impression here, Sean, is a question I've got to ask right out of the gate for you. How wild is it that Ohio State is chasing a repeat national title? They're number 2 overall in the seeding. Yet it's not the playoff bracket. It's not the Miami game that we've got coming up this coming week. That's all the news. But what's happening inside the Woody Hayes? What are your thoughts on that?
That's something we don't need, man. Everybody should be locked in. If he is not locked in 100%, he needs... Listen, everybody, don't think I'm trying to trash Brian Hartline. I'm not. I love the guy. Thank you for all that you've done for Ohio State. You're what a true Buckeye is. You were tough. You played your heart out. You gave everything you had to Ohio State. We love you for that. Everything that you've done with the wide receivers, help making this wide receiver you and keeping the tradition on. We love you for that. But right now, bro, your mind's somewhere else, and you need to go. And Ryan Day needs to take over the play calling. 100%. He just needs to tell Brian, thank you for what you've done. We love you. If you want to stay and coach the receivers, you're more than welcome to. But I'm going to call the plays. And that's what I would do if I was him.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying there. Now, would you say that, in your opinion, this may be kind of one of the strangest backdrops we've seen in the Ryan Day era during a playoff run? I mean, we've had, 4 or 5 playoff runs now under Ryan Day in his tenure. But, I mean, we talk about the officiating that's happened in the past. We've talked about missed kicks. We've talked about weird things. We've talked about the loss to Michigan in Ryan Day's. Is what's going on right now with Brian Hartline, is that the weirdest thing that's been going on during Ryan Day's tenure?
I don't know if I can call it the weirdest, but, man, the guy, it just seems like the guy can never catch a break, man. He's had more potholes on the road to chasing a natty every year than anybody I've seen. I mean, it's always something new. I mean, nothing's really his fault either. I mean, it wasn't his fault that the refs totally screwed him against Clemson, or the non-targeting call against Georgia. I mean, some of the stuff, he could have done better, true, but I mean, he's had some bad luck and some bad bounces go against him, but he always seems to just, fight through it. So I think that's what's going to happen now, is he's going to fight through this, and I think we're going to come out better for it.
So we look at Ryan Day and he had said as recently as last week that Brian Hartline was still our play caller.
Mm-hmm.
But you look back, we had the Big Ten title loss. Do you think that is a big factor in why we are shifting to Ryan Day taking back the plays, or do you think it is more so the lack of focus right now on Brian Hartline? And I don't blame Brian Hartline for his lack of focus. He is trying to do 2 full-time coaching jobs right now. But do you think it's more the lack of focus on Brian Hartline's part, the lack of ability to be present in the situation, or do you think part of it goes back to that Big Ten title loss, or do you think it's maybe a combination of both?
Combination of both. I mean, if you look, man, that was some horrendous play calling. He didn't set any of his plays up at all. They couldn't scheme people to get open. I mean, it had no rhyme or reason to the play calls. It was like he was throwing stuff up against the wall to see if something would stick. I mean, I think, I thought he was still a ways away from being a head coach, that he needed to be an offensive coordinator for another year or two before taking a head coaching job. But hey, do what you got to do, Brian. I'm not mad at you, but I just think with what happened, yeah, I mean, it's not fair to Brian or anybody else the way the NCAA has the calendar the way it is. It's a complete crap show. We know this. Other people have mentioned how Tom Herman was the offensive coordinator and he took the Houston job. Well, you know what? There wasn't an early signing day when Tom Herman took that job. I mean, signing day wasn't until February.
Right.
So his season was totally over. He didn't have to worry about all that stuff. I mean, Brian Hartline had to try to get his class signed that day and reach out and try to keep people, in the program that he wanted in the program down there. So, I mean, he's put in an awkward spot. I think he should just concentrate on Florida, his coaching job, and I think that's what's best for everybody.
Yeah. And hey, before we go any further, just want to say, hey, thank you to everybody who's tuning in for this impromptu edition. Tyler, Temple of Brutus, Obi. And Obi makes a great comment here, just kind of validates what you were just saying, Sean. The NCAA really needs to step in and do something about coaching changes, the portal window, just the calendar, the signing day, the calendar in general, I think is a big part of the issue that right now, is this going to lead to issues for Ohio State through the playoff? Now, let's step back to Ryan Day for a minute. Do you think that he has ever really fully given up the play calling, or do you think that he's still had a very active hand in what was going on?
I think he had the veto power for sure.
Agreed.
I mean, we knew that last year. He took over some of the play calling from Chip in the Michigan game, and we saw, that wasn't very good. But I think he's let Brian try to learn as a play caller and let him do his thing. But I think if he got stuck or maybe in a rut, I think Ryan would help him out, jump in, call a few plays, kind of get it going. I mean, we saw the last Indiana game where there was like a drive where Ryan was talking into the headset with the walkie-talkie, and he had the play sheet. So obviously, right there, he's calling plays, but it was only for a drive, and that was the drive right after halftime. And you saw what was happening there. I mean, seemed like we got out of a funk and we started to have some rhythm to the offense, but
yeah. Go ahead, Sean. Finish up. I'm sorry.
it's mind-boggling right now. But if the only way this becomes a problem is if Ryan Day lets it become a problem, and he just needs to, put the hammer down.
Now he said, and I'm going to use an exact quote here from Ryan Day. He said he's going to become more involved. When a head coach says they're becoming more involved, what does that really mean? Because now, to clarify, he said that both he and Keenan Bailey, who some of us have speculated is potentially the next OC, would be involved with the play calling, that he would have ultimate decision. But when a coach says he's going to be more involved, what does that tell you?
I mean, honestly, I think he's been involved the whole time we know he's been involved with the offensive game plan from the beginning of the year. I mean, he's always in on the meetings and putting together the game plan with Brian. But I think when he says he's more involved, he's basically taking it over. That's the way I feel when I hear him say that. I think Hartline, if he does come back, should just coach the receivers and let he can still stay up there in the box and radio down what he sees to Ryan. Try to help him out. Say, hey, call this play. This play might work. This is the coverage you're running. But honestly, Ryan Day just needs to put an end to it and say, Brian, just concentrate on your team. If you want to stay here and coach the receivers, we'll let you do that. But that's it. You're not calling any more plays.
Now, this brings up, there's an interesting question here that I want to dive into a little bit. My feeling is we've heard the name Keenan Bailey mentioned. We've heard the name Brian Hartline mentioned. We've heard the name Ryan Day mentioned. If these guys are sharing plays, the play calling duties, if these guys are, or Ryan Day is becoming more active in the play calling duties and he's leaning more on Keenan, do you feel, because I personally do, I feel this could be troublesome for the Ohio State team. The reason being, I feel it sets up a power dynamic that could choose the offensive guys to have to almost pick sides.
I mean,
do you feel that that's something that's potentially there, or do you think that maybe I'm just overblowing that a little?
It could be a problem. There's no doubt about it. If you got too many cooks in the kitchen, or if somebody's trying to make a power play that, like if Keenan Bailey really wants that offensive coordinator job, and he starts, forcing his voice louder than everybody else and saying, call this, call that, that can become a problem. But Ryan Day, which we all know is a good leader, I think he's just going to tell those guys, I'll listen to your ideas, but I'm the one that's going to make the ultimate calls on the plays and the game plan. So, and I think that's what he needs to do. And he needs to, because listen, Ryan, if we win or lose, you're going to get the credit. Not these other guys, you are. So it all starts and ends with you, Ryan. So you're the man, you're the head coach. So you got to do what's best for this team. And that, in my opinion, that's you calling the plays.
Now, Obi brings up a great question here. Does this mean that Ryan Day doesn't trust his coaching staff? My take on this is Ryan Day is looking out for the best interest of the team in his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Ryan Day is trying to win another championship, and I think that Ryan Day feels that Brian Hartline's focus isn't 100% because, as I mentioned earlier, he's doing two full-time coaching jobs. Your thoughts, Sean?
I agree. I mean, I think he does trust his coaching staff, but honestly, you knew Hartline was going to be like, this is his first year, so he was going to need help. And I think they knew that to begin with, so that's why he hired Tyler Bowen as the offensive line coach, who's also was an offensive coordinator too. So there's always a fail-safe. So, Tyler Bowen could always help Hartline with the run game, and he was the run game coordinator, so he could help him. Ryan Day was going to help him too, and, they're trying to walk him along through this season to help him learn how to be a good play caller. But, I mean, it's Ryan Day's program, and I think he needs to do what's best for the program, like you said, Chris, and that's what he's doing.
I look at this and, Day again said it was going to be a group effort with input from Keenan Bailey. Obviously, you mentioned Tyler Bowen, who's been an OC before. But as far as play calling goes, Hartline is out. He talked about also that the focus needs to be on preparing this team for the CFP and bouncing back from that Indiana loss in the championship game. And he did acknowledge Miami as a talented team with lots of NFL players. But one of the things I want to talk about here is something he touched on again, and I mentioned it earlier, the calendar of timing for personnel changes in college football. And he acknowledged this using the word brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And it is brutal because it is right in the middle of a playoff run, and the NCAA has put these coaches in a position where they can't win. If they go out and they focus solely on the playoffs, they can't win the portal. They can't win recruiting day. If they focus on the recruiting day and the portal, odds are they can't go out and win a national title because their focus is split. And then earlier on, Obi mentioned the word trust. And obviously, many of you know that there is something that may have caused a little friction in the trust. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to tell you right now. Yesterday, Brian Hartline offered 2027 OSU commit Angelo Smith, younger brother of Jeremiah Smith, a scholarship to USF. He offers an Ohio State commit, a guy who's a commit for the team he is on the sideline for right now, offers him a scholarship. Is that crossing the line, Sean?
Yes. Wait till the season's over before you do that. I mean, you're basically disrespecting the guy that's giving you your who's giving you a chance so you could be where you're at today, man. I mean, honestly, Ryan Day, when he took over the head coaching job, he could have fired you, Hartline. You're only basically a grad assistant or whatever for Urban Meyer. You weren't a full-time position coach till Ryan Day made you the full-time receiver coach. I mean, basically. So you're biting the hand that feeds you, and you're basically sticking a knife in his back. I mean, honestly, you could have done it behind closed doors or just, it's just, I don't think it's right at all. And I think he crossed the line there. And I don't blame Ryan Day if he doesn't trust them. How do you feel about it, Chris?
To me, this was a major breach of trust. I don't know if he did anything wrong from a coaching standpoint, although I think it's kind of slimy.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is it's not the right thing to do, and not, like you said, the right time to do it. Now the question becomes: is there a difference between recruiting this kid, who while he's an Ohio State commit has not signed anything? Is there a difference between that and say going after a player that's on the team? Been a lot of speculations that maybe Bryson Rogers is going to be joining Brian Hartline down at South Florida. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's been rumor about that. And what does this do not only to the relationship between Hartline and Day, but what does it do to the relationship between Hartline and Jeremiah Smith?
I could see where he'd want to. I mean, he probably knows the kid. He probably was in on the recruiting of him. He knows the Smith family very well. I mean, him and Jeremiah are close. And I get that you want to do that, but you already know he's committed. I mean, you could wait a couple months until you're not there anymore to send out, offer him, a scholarship. You don't have to do it right now while you're still a part of the team, man. That's just, there's going up to the line and there's crossing the line. I feel like he jumped over the line big time on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think he broke a lot of trust, and even if it's technically allowed, in my opinion, optics do still matter. And this is a bad look for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad look for Brian Hartline. And here's the question: if you're Ryan Day, now do you step in immediately and draw a hard boundary and say, "Listen, you finish this playoff run, and you don't recruit against Ohio State while you're doing it. Can you accept those terms, yes or no?" I kind of feel like that's what needs to happen from Ryan Day, but what are your thoughts?
I agree. You need to say that. You knock it off or you're gone. I mean, I will put out a nice little fluffy, little press, I'll say something nice in the press that you wanted to go down and concentrate on your team and get started on recruiting for your team. And, you couldn't do both at the same time. And I'll be civil that way. But if you're going to sit here and try to poach my players or do anything to hurt my program while you're still a part of it, then I'm going to kick your butt down the road, man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I need to have you on my side. You need to be in here in the foxhole with me while we try to make another run at a title. If you don't have my back and you don't have everybody else's back, then you need to go.
Yeah. So right now, the expectation is Hartline finishes the season, much like Tom Herman did in 2014. But I think ultimately we have to ask ourselves right now, is it the right move? For me, that's a hard no. For me, this is a hard no. I think that the fact that you're taking away the play calling duties, the fact that you are having him recruiting inside of your own house, trying to flip your commits, I feel like that is it's not Buckeye behavior.
No, not at all.
It's not in the best interest of this team right now. And I think you, like you said, I think you part on a mutual way, good terms. You go out, you say it to the press. Listen, have Brian Hartline come out and say, "Listen, my focus needs to be on USF. My heart needs to be with USF right now. I'm a Buckeye born and bred. I love the Buckeyes. I will live and die a Buckeye. But I need to focus on my career path right now, and that involves South Florida. And I need to be there for the portal season. I need to be there for the recruiting season. And I need to be getting this team ready for next year. And for that reason, I need to step away." And I think you get a ringing endorsement from Ryan Day. And I think the two teams part on good terms. I don't know if that's going to happen. Is that what should happen?
And that's what should happen, but like you said, you don't know if that's what's going to happen. I mean, if I was Ryan Day, I'd be like, either you can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. Don't cause it. If you really care about these kids and you care about this program, then you won't cause any drama. You won't cause any problems. I won't trash you. You don't trash me. You just go down and get to work on your program and thank you for what you've done. I mean, if you can stay here and coach the wide receivers and be invested in it, yes, but I'm not going to trust you to call any more plays. Sorry, but you helped cost us a Big Ten title. You're not going to cost me a natty.
Okay, here we go. 2 questions, both very difficult. I'm going to pose them to you.
Okay.
Biggest benefit of keeping Brian Hartline on the sideline through the playoff?
I think it helps the receivers. Because I don't know if everybody else knows this, but look how much the development kind of went down this year with him not paying as much attention to the receivers like he has in the past, and having
You
all the
don't.
attention on play calling. I mean, our younger receivers didn't take the steps that they needed to take. I mean, did they flash a little bit here and there? Yeah, but they weren't ready to step in and really, jump off like we've seen in the past when JSN got his chance or Marvin got his chance or, any of those guys got their chance. They all jumped, all took advantage of it and proved why they should play. Bryson Rogers did okay. I mean, Mylan Graham didn't live up to expectations. Quincy Porter did, showed some flashes, but he didn't get that much playing time. And some of the other guys that we really wanted to see didn't get much playing time either. So,
yeah, I agree with you there. I think the development really, really suffered for the young guys this year. Okay, biggest risk of keeping Brian Hartline on the sideline when he's got 1 foot out the door?
if he's still calling the plays, I mean, a disaster. I mean, look at last game. His plays, he did not set anything up at all. I mean, my gosh, he left Julian in there to get slaughtered. I mean, we were having trouble pass blocking, and he was having Julian take 7-step drops, 10-step, 9-step drop back passes instead of doing 3-step drop, get the ball out of his hands because he had guys in his face all night. I mean, there was no screen passes. I mean, they kept blitzing us and blitzing us and blitzing us. I mean, how do you beat the blitz? With slants, with, draws, with screens. You don't sit there and try to have long developing plays. I mean, that's disaster written all over it, man. And I mean, I think he did not put our team in the best position to win, Chris.
Agreed. So as we look at this, let's zoom out And let's take a look at the totality of what Brian Hartline has done at Ohio State. How big of a loss is this for Ohio State? I mean, to me, this is a significant loss. But as far as let's look at the overall what we saw as an offensive coordinator, if we take into consideration the lack of production as an OC and the lack of production by his young receivers, is it really as big a loss losing him from OC to USF as it would have been losing Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach, to
No,
USF?
no, he's a bigger. I mean, the loss will be felt in the wide receiver room, but not as a play caller, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think, I think honestly, the play calling has gone down this year. Chip Kelly is, I mean, way up there. Of course, he's had all those years of experience, so
Yes.
it's not fair to bash Brian because he's only had a half a year to try to call plays, and you need to learn. But I just don't think Ohio State's the place for a first time coordinator to try to learn. That's just my opinion. Even though you got two guys with Ryan Day and Tyler Bowen who have been offensive coordinators, and Ryan Day might be one of the best offensive minds in college football, if not all of football, but college football, to help you. Still, there's times that he's really, really, really struggled. And we were just lucky that we were so much better than the team across the field, that we could just out talent them,
Yeah. 100%. Um, how much does this affect Ryan Day's CEO style head coaching right now? Because what we saw in the playoffs was Ryan Day, the CEO last year. Does what has happened with Brian Hartline right now? Does it put a major crimp in the repeat plans for Ohio State?
You know what? It might, but you know what? I think he's doing what a CEO would do. You find a weak spot and you get rid of it. You got to do what's best for the program, and honestly, he's doing what's best for the program right now. So, I mean, might it take his eye off of? Does he have total concentration on being the CEO? No, more of his, concentration's got to be calling plays, but he's got trusted guys around him that will help him do this. I mean, honestly, I mean, Tim Walden, Laurinaitis, I mean, a lot of these, Keenan Bailey, he trusts these guys. So these guys can, help him, but I have no doubts that Ryan can call plays and be the head coach and help us win another title.
Do you think that Ohio State's better positioned than most programs to actually survive losing a coordinator mid playoff run like this?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's my take. I mean, like I said, we've got Tyler Bowen who's done this before. You've got Matt Patricia, who I think has been a coordinator or coach for every position on the field at one time or another.
Yeah.
You've got Brian Hartline, or you got Ryan Day, who is an offensive genius. I agree. I'm very worried about, does Ryan Day become too consumed? Now, what I will say is I feel better with Matt Patricia as head coach of our defense than I did with Jim Knowles.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I don't want to lose the Ryan Day we had through the playoffs. And here's the biggest question of all, Sean, and then we're going to wrap things up on this abbreviated live edition of the OHIO podcast. 10 years from now, are we talking about Brian Hartline for what he did at Ohio State to this point and how he helped to get us a national championship last year? Or are we talking about him as a distraction that cost us the national championship this year?
Man, that's the ultimate question, man. And we won't know for, till a few weeks, but I'm going to stay positive, and I think we pull through this and we win, in my opinion, because I think Ryan Day has been through enough. I think he knows what he's doing. I trust Ryan Day. after what he's been through, man. There's nothing I don't think could really shake this guy now.
So, a lot of people, I've had text messages already from a few people who've asked me. I'm surprised you haven't asked me, Sean, what Brian Hartline has done with this leaving the middle of the playoff run, with this attempt to steal away Angelo Smith. Where does he rank next to one Marcus Freeman on my list, so to speak?
Ooh.
And I'm going to tell you,
Ooh.
for that you're going to have to go over to Patreon and find out. I'm gonna hold that one into myself. That's going to be another video over on Patreon.
Ooh.
Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, share. If you're not a member, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscriptions have been blowing up. Over 1,400, I think Eric said, in the last 28 days. That's awesome. Keep sharing us with your friends. Thank you so much. Guys, we will be back again. I will be back again later tonight with our call-in show. I'm very pumped up. This may be something you guys want to talk about tonight. I don't know. But until next time, guys, just stay positive. Remember, we're in a playoff run. We're going to repeat. That's what our goal is. All right, Sean. And until next time, OH.
IO.
Go Bucks.
Bucks. Scum so sucks.